This my rebirth, found me, I got a new word.
MJ.
This my rebirth, I came back and it hurt 'em. They see this coming, more blessings,
Freaking
you
that
know
potent,
we
potent.
serve 'em. Found myself
That potent for potent.
now I am so certain. Got a second
That yucky green juice right here. Gotta have it. Be back with another live stream, though. Let's get it. Early morning vibe. Early morning vibes, good streams. We getting lit with the greeny juice already. Get that metabolism work. Get it crack. Let's get it. How y'all morning doing though?
They was just some figures. I had to stand tall, had to be my own pillar. Needed meds for all this pain, I had to be my own dealer. My life, it felt just like a movie, and the clips is getting realer. So I'm glad I chose myself, and I'm thankful for y'all help. Got me growing like kelp, feeling lucky like
Rebirth 1 year anniversary.
Cause I've been through the fire, now I got all these desires.
Been 1 year since I put my first album out. Rebirth. What's good, Marissa?
Cause this my rebirth, and I ain't been down nowhere.
Hope y'all morning is going, yeah.
This my rebirth, born again, I know
Been here chilling.
Found myself and burnt the past. Now I am so certain that it's my rebirth. New me, I got a new word. New us, so I gotta pull up in a Euro. And I know I'm about to spurge, I don't get nervous. It was looking down for a minute, now it surges. Gotta put my pain all up in these verses. Finally find a way I could break all these curses. I had to hit rock bottom just to know what my worth is. Now I can see all the stuff I'm deserving. And I had to burn my past cause it just wasn't working. Like you gotta stay the same or change up for your purpose. Cause it's only one way at a time. And you better choose before you run out of time. Cause I've been through the fire, now I got all these desires. Spread my wings, I'm feeling flyer. I know that
why this documentary so long.
Cause this my rebirth, and I ain't been down, no it hurt. Yeah, it's my rebirth, born again, I know it's my turn. Found myself and burnt the past, now I am so certain that it's my rebirth. New me, I got a new word. New year, new us, so I gotta pull up in yours.
Back into this video.
Mosquito, George, and Toto being locked up. He had nobody left to run with in the streets, so to fill up his days, he actually enrolled back in school. He enrolled with a fake name and risked his freedom just so he could hang in the hallways and talk to girls. Gangster recalls this as the most fun and relaxing time of his life, as all he was focused on was having fun. While this kind of lifestyle would last for a few months as he awaited his friends returning from jail. Eventually, George and Mosquito would be released from jail, and Gangsta went right back to his old life in the streets.
Gangsta.
George come
Alright,
home.
to the
So
street,
all three of
boy.
us running together now, robbing people, doing well. We got, get money. We had a big, long thumbcocker 4.4. We had a thumbcocker 357, 9mm, and Mac 11s and stuff.
The trio was absolutely tearing up the streets of New Orleans. They would hang out in the projects and spend their days committing sporadic crimes. But then on a random day, they noticed something that pisses them off. The guy who had told on them for stealing his car has that same car parked right in the project. Even though the guy had literally done nothing wrong, George and Gangsta still wanted to get revenge.
One morning, me and George, we bored. The same guy we robbed that caused us to go to juvenile jail, his truck
crazy.
is parked. What are the chances? So I'm like, wait till he come out, we gonna kill him.
So George and Gangsta patiently wait outside for the man to come back to his car. Then hours and hours go by and the man never comes to his car.
He told us he got us in trouble, man, with juveniles. George like, man, he might be in there too long. So George had a 36 round clip and shot the truck up.
At this point, they have no regard for people's property and most importantly, human life. Every day brings new destruction as they're tearing up the New Orleans streets. But as they say, what goes around comes around too. Gangsta and his crew felt untouchable because to this point, they seriously had never been touched. However, when you're living reckless and wild, you'll run into people who are just as reckless as you.
Eventually, you're gonna get caught up.
Their first consequences in the streets would come on a random day in the Magnolia Projects.
Supercharge your business with the all-new Shopify point of sale, the all-in-one POS solution built on the world's most powerful commerce platform.
I was on Magnolia Street, Magnolia 6. There's this car pull up. They want to buy.
Well, instead of selling to the man, Terrence's crew decide to rob him. While all of this is happening, Terrence happens to be in the corner watching. So while his friends are going through the guy's stuff, Terrence notices that the guy is armed and dangerous.
He got a chrome gun in his hand. I see the gun. It's dark in the courtyard where he's at. So he starts shooting. And when he's shot, I get hit in the foot.
Thankfully, the guy misses both of Terrence's friends, but he hits Terrence in the foot. So now, even though he's wanted by police, Terrence knows that he needs to go to the hospital. So his friends rush him to the emergency room, and thankfully he's able to be fixed up. Now, because he's wanted for juvenile escape, in a normal society, he would be taken straight to jail. But this is New Orleans, and nobody knows what's going on. So without running his name or checking his record, he's sent right out of the hospital.
Yeah, I got up out of there. I made it up out of there. Can I do something? Give me a second. Can I say something? Hello? Cause she here. My people here.
What's Sam la mama? What's Sam with you? La, c'est la. What's Sam with you? Well, at this point, Terrence is really invincible as he seems to duck and dodge his way out of every consequence. Whether it's getting away with a bunch of crimes, escaping juvenile jail, or hospitals not even running his name. Gangsta simply can never be taken down, or at least that's what it was seeming like. But then he finally makes a mistake that puts a temporary end to all of his madness. Him and his boys decide to hit a house lick for the very first time. Even though they're already making money in the streets, they decide to do it just for the sake of doing it. So for their first step, they rent a car from a guy they know. For $10, he lets them use the car, but they have to return it in a few hours. Well, now that they have a getaway car, they decide to do it.
No, we had a guy that was selling in the project. We decided to rob the house.
To get in the house, George wants to push in the air conditioning and have Terrence climb inside.
No, at first he was like, man, we could get this window, man, I'm going in there. So what happened is they got an air condition. Push the air condition in. He said, man, get in. I said, no, man, somebody might be in there. He said, man, I'm gonna start shooting something. Yeah, but you might hit me.
So that's when Terrence thinks of a better solution. Let's find someone else to hop in first.
So I go run around and get this crackhead, have her come back. Put her in the window.
So she hops in, runs around, and says that nobody's inside. So now it's officially go time.
So she get back out the window, so that lets us know nobody's there. I get in there, he get in there. I go straight to the closet. They got a pump gun. We took that. Then I went in the drawer. That's where all the money, stacks of money. So I'm stuffing the money in my pockets, hiding money in my socks and all that. We get all the money out the drawer.
Boom, they hit the house. Now it's time to drive away and return the car. But instead, Terrence opts to go straight to the mall to blow all of the money.
Oh my god.
So he goes in a jewelry store and buys a grill, and George stands outside and talks to some girls. They think that it's a great day, but little do they know they had gone over the time with the car, and the owner decided to report it stolen.
I'm thinking the car good because we paid $10 for the car. The man had reported cost because we were gone over the time.
Because of this, New Orleans police start searching the city for the car. So right after wasting their money, George and Terrence hop in the car and head down Canal Street. That's when police get behind them, corner them in, and then arrest them. Obviously, they know nothing about the home invasion, but they get them for the stolen car. So now Terrence faces charges of stealing a car and escaping juvenile. Or is that right? Well, you must not know Terrence because he already had a plan to shake it.
Lock me and him up. We go to
already
juvenile.
had a plan.
While we in juvenile bureau wait. So that man said, "What's your name?" I said, "Richard Bromfield."
He gives the officer a fake name, but the officer knows it's fake because he has a TW tattoo on his arm.
He said, boy, what that TW stand for? That's my father. He passed away, sir.
The officer does not buy it for a second, so he calls in the co-defendant and
That's
asks
my
him to give
father.
up his name.
That's the
He
lady.
say he go get Hank. He go get my best friend, but he don't bring him out by me. He go in there, hear him talk. What's his name? I'm like, man, Hank better not rattle. Hank was like, Richard Broomfield. That's all I know about it.
His co-defendant stays solid, but the officer still does not buy the fake name. So he decides to ask Terrence what school he goes to so he can look up the enrollment.
So the man said, what school you go? I said, Booker T. Washington. So he got this big, thick book, and then he opened it. Look, he don't see that name, but I know this is a real name because this guy lived down the block. Was my big brother friend, Richard Broomfield. It's a real name, and he don't get in no trouble. So, Richard Broomfield, sir, I'm gonna beat your butt. If you lying, we're gonna do a fingerprint.
So now Terrence is headed to court under the fake name of Richard Broomfield. So the court date comes around and here's what happens. Somehow the courts don't double check his identity and they accept him as Richard Broomfield. Because of this, the judge sees that he's a good student and doesn't have a criminal record. So even though it's a serious charge, the judge decides to be lenient and offers him probation for a few more years.
Wow.
And just like that, Terrence is able to duck consequences yet another time. George and his mother have no idea that this occurred, and while he was released, they were at home debating whether he was going to go to jail or sent back home. And that's when Terrence pops up out of nowhere.
George and my mother, he going back to juvenile jail. They got his butt now. My man ain't know that boy smoke. He gonna get up out of there. Soon as they're in there having the debate, I knock on the door. Back.
So now he's on supervised release under his fake name,
Watching the
and he's wanted for
documentary.
juvenile escape for his real name. He's maybe the most wanted
Very
man in
man,
New
brother.
Orleans, and the courts just simply have no idea. Terrence takes the justice system as a complete joke, and he decides to go out to the club the same night he's released. So a couple of his friends come to pick him up from the Magnolia Projects, and they head down Willow Street. After making a right turn out of the projects, the police get behind them and turn on their lights. The driver forgot to use his turn signal, and now the police smell you-know-what in the car. So they direct them to
You-know-what.
step out of the car, and they pat them all down.
I didn't even think to run or nothing, man. That man pat me down and found the gun.
So now Terrence is handcuffed sitting on the curb facing a misdemeanor gun charge.
George come outside like, give him a fake name, you know? I'm like, bro, I can't go back to juvenile.
Terrence knows that going to juvenile court is a horrible idea because he'd have to face the judge who just let him out under the Richard Broomfield name. So going to juvenile court is not an option, so he comes up with plan B. He recently turned 18, and because of this, he figures that giving them his real name and date of birth might be the best idea.
Can't go back now, so I give him my real name, but 74 date of birth.
So now it's March of
What?
1992, and Terrence makes his court appearance for
Oh my
first-time gun
God,
possession,
bro.
a misdemeanor
He
charge
was
in
doing
Louisiana.
everything
This in
to
itself
avoid getting
really isn't
caught.
that serious, as the max sentence is only 6 months in jail, but typically people only get probation. However, the district attorney makes a major mistake and circles felony on his charge.
We live in a world full of media streams, social platforms and devices.
Oh, then we going.
Countless
We
files
watching
and different-
Birdman, brother.
Court for the gun.
40 body.
He made a mistake and circle felony on the gun. But really, the gun was my first time as an adult, so it was
He
really
became
a
his
mistake
evil
misdemeanor.
hitman.
Because of this crucial mistake, the judge dismisses his charges
This
completely.
part 2 though.
So once again, he somehow wiggled his way out of consequences. However, because he used his real name, he still had to serve the remainder of his juvenile sentence. While Terrence agrees that this is fair, but he does have one request. Send me to the LTI in Monroe and don't send me to Baker. The judge thinks nothing of it and schedules him a bus ride up to Monroe. And here is where things somehow fall into Terrence's favor once again.
James second juvenile.
He
There's
takes the
no
6-hour
way.
bus ride to Monroe with the mentality that he'll stay there for 3 years.
Ain't
But
no
little
way.
does he know, LTI Monroe was not informed that he was coming. So when he arrives to the facility, they don't see his name on the list and they send him right back to New Orleans. So now he's on another 6-hour bus ride right back home. After being released, he walks right back to the Magnolia Projects.
My mother inside, brother said, Mama, guess what? I got a prize for you, Mom. She said, hey, babe. She said, Terrence, you didn't break out again, did you? I said, no, Mama, they released me this time. This for real.
Gangsta is excited to be home and so are his
They
friends. They
released me.
decide to go out to
What?
the club to celebrate. So Gangsta, George, and a couple friends from the Melphamine Projects decide to go out. At this time, the Melf is beefing with the 7th Ward, so the group of guys are on tip ready if anything happens.
No,
so
somebody
the night at the
getting
club
shot.
goes by just fine, as the guys have no drama. Everyone
Shit.
empties out into the parking lot, and that's when Norris from the Melf sees his cops from the 7th Ward.
Oh my
He then
God.
turns to Gangsta and George, he points out his op, and that's all it takes. Instantly, George, Gangsta, and Norris from the Melf get ready to down the op. So they whip out Blix, and in front of everyone, they walk across the parking lot. There, they look at the man, and bam! Despite being hit 16 times, somehow the man survives.
16.
At this time in New Orleans, 99 out of 100 of these type of incidents would go unsolved. Although there were dozens of witnesses, nobody would ever dare tell on a group like them. So because of this, Gangsta, George, and Norris would go about their lives with zero worries. But little do they know, the man was so angry that he decided to tell police everything that happened. And just like that, Gangsta, George, and Norris are arrested for attempted murder.
Oh,
So now with the witness testimony, Gangsta has to be cooked.
Not the gun of
Like, we know he's a magician, but I don't think he can escape this one.
that boy.
I hit him up around the club like 10 times. Then Norris, George went up and hit him 4 more times, but he survived. So he's coming to court on us now.
So not only did he give descriptions to police, but now he's coming to court to
I used
testify
to
on
do
the trio.
16
So
times
in
and
other
not kill
words,
him.
there's truly
Like,
no
damn,
escaping this
I
one.
gotta be done.
However, for Norris, because he had no criminal record, the DA decided to be lenient and offer him 10 years of probation. George was given the same deal, but
Like,
for
how
Terrence, the
you
district
get
attorney
shot
was not
16
playing at all. Because of his horrible reputation and
way.
shenanigans of the past, the city of New Orleans wanted to wash him
Close,
away.
dude.
He was now facing 12 years in prison, and it was strongly looking like he was gonna get it. So this is when he's finally held accountable, right?
Until he got that bird.
But then
man,
Norris
connection.
Crawford comes through and saves the day.
Norris get on the stand. They say, my name Norris Crawford. I'm the one that shot Ronald Stanfield. Terrence had nothing to do with it. All the DA was ticked off.
So believe it or not, because of this, Terrence is released right back to the Magnolia Projects.
he took the
Somehow he's
fall
able
for
to
it all.
escape literally every situation. While this situation did not scare him at all, because right as he got home, he went right back to his old
Bro
lifestyle
stepped
in the
in with that
streets.
bird, man.
Absolutely nothing changed in Terrence's
Wow.
mentality, except he started hanging with a new couple of guys. While he was in jail fighting his case, he made friends with 2 specific people. First would be a guy named Dooney, a certified stepper from the 17th Ward. And second would be a guy that you would never expect. This would be Sterling, the same guy he had a standoff with a few years back. Well,
Oh,
while they were
yeah.
locked up, they ended up becoming close friends and agreeing to run the streets together once they get out.
I get out in 93, in September 93. Dude and Sterling already home. I come home. Then Mosquito come home.
Mosquito.
All us in the project.
Got all day and night.
Robbing, hitting,
Ready to
niggas
bite.
coming together, putting plans together. Doing got to connect a Cuban, a Latino connect.
Just like that, the Magnolia Projects had a crew of 4 dangerous men running the streets. Gangsta, Dooney, Sterling, and Mosquito were inseparable
Uh-oh.
and definitely unstoppable too.
Wrecking squad.
They wanted to be rich, feared, and glamorized in New Orleans. They were already dangerous and feared, so to run up the money, they started moving serious weight in the streets. But unlike Birdman and Slim, they weren't business savvy and they kept blowing all of their money. So for a while, here's how it would go. First, they'd sell a bunch of you-know-what, and then they'd blow all of the profits. Then, once they realized they were broke, they would find a new supplier to rob. They were basically like a group of steppers who were trying to compete with real hustlers and kingpins. Well, once Birdman heard that they were broke, he decided to do his little brother a favor. He decided to front them some cash and a whole lot of product.
So having Birdman come through. And he front all us a kilo. Came through, hit us all y'all go.
Obviously, Gangsta was thankful for his big bro, but Sterling, well, he had other plans.
I saw it in Sterling how he went to rob.
Damn, that's crazy. Damn. Man, they really telling us right here, like, man, Birdman is like, I don't know, he's like the head of fucking Louisiana, bro. Real mob boss. Might be a little zesty boss, I don't know, but bruh, he really going in about this crime family right here. This shit run New Orleans, bro. 40 bodies is crazy.
I'm like, no,
You gotta see, like, he really telling a little bit more than just his story.
don't do that. No, we can't ride on and thief, bro. We ain't doing that.
Not only could Gangsta sense that Sterling wanted to rob him, but Birdman could too. So after stuffing their pockets, Birdman pulls Gangsta to the side and asks him a crazy question.
I remember him calling me to the bar,
Hey,
asking me
killed him.
like, if it came down to it, would I take one of them out?
Ooh, I knew it.
Even though Birdman's his blood brother, his friends are way closer and much more
That's
dear
his
to him
word.
at this time. So in
Yeah,
his
he
heart, he
do.
knows very well that he would never eliminate one of his 3 friends. However, he also knows that if he doesn't please his big brother, he might not make it out of the question.
Of course I'm gonna use it, right? Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I take one of them, but in my heart, I'm like, this is my brothers here. We run the street together. So if I'm like, no, I wouldn't do that. I might not make it. I'm going to the grave. Man, it might hit my head. So I gotta give him the answer you want to hear. Yeah, man, I got you, man.
Go to motionarray.com and enter a world with over 2 million creative assets to bring your vision to life.
Really?
What a cold way to have to live. Not only does it show that he believed that his own brother would
Watching
whack
this
him, but it also
documentary.
shows the deep loyalty he had for his
Birdman
friends.
brother.
The 4 of them were real brothers,
Evil
thick
killer.
and thin in a city full of snakes.
Just chilling.
Gangsta, Sterling, Mosquito, and Dooney were truly an unstoppable force in New Orleans. Within a few
Some
months,
slum
all of their
stories.
wishes were
Wanna go
coming
check it
true
out,
as they
too.
were becoming real New Orleans superstars. And because of this, they were given a special name by the girls in the projects.
These girls at the project, they be calling y'all hot boys.
Hot
Yeah.
boys. That's how it started.
Gangsta absolutely loved the name as it represented being young with money, feared, and admired by all. And just like that, they started calling themselves the Hot Boys of the Magnolia. So now, welcome
Hot
to the Hot Boy
Boy.
era.
Yeah, they
although
was
they
really
had 4
dropping
main
shit
members,
now.
the group was actually larger than just them.
George,
Once
Mike,
they got a
Mike,
hot
Mosquito,
boy,
we had
bet
all
you they
these
was airing
people
anything out.
that were hot boys. The only reason why the 4 of us stood out is because Mike back in Georgia ain't go to doing a life sentence for something they didn't do. You got Stone, the big dog,
That was
get money.
good.
You got Skip Boo over here. You got Longer Black, Soda Slim, Dougaloo, all of them hanging over here. It's just Sterling, Dooney, Mosquito, and myself hung together every day. We all hung together every day, wore each other clothes. So it was like, okay, we the hot boy, we click tight.
It was
Now
like,
that the Hot Boys
oh,
were official and taking over the streets, Gangsta wanted to lay down some laws. We never rob each other, cross each other, hurt anyone innocent, and most importantly, we never snitch. So in order to convey these rules, Gangsta ordered a roundtable
He
meeting with
ended
all
up
of the members
telling
plus
everything.
Birdman and Slim.
We all
How
had
about
sat
write the
around table
rules?
talking, right?
he told the whole
So as I'm looking around the
story
table,
down.
these killers around them, Birdman, everybody, we getting money. I was like, listen, man, as we sit
Listen,
down, we talk
man,
about
I
things,
got some
we
rules
talk,
for
we
y'all.
figure out. That's when all the rules come about.
But I ain't gonna
was very
follow.
vocal. So I'm looking at Birdman. I'm like, if you ever get stopped by the police, or if you ever get hemmed up, don't talk to the police. Do not get no statements. That's a violation. I made all these rules. That's why now, in this day and time, I don't get mad or be upset with none of them because I made those rules. Don't sit down. Don't never talk with the police. Don't never, go under an interrogation. Don't. I want my lawyer. I knew better.
He
When I was in
still
my
did.
juvenile state, when the man wanted me to give a statement when I was a juvenile, I
He
said, I
ain't
want
in
my
no
lawyer.
lame shit.
Mother had to coach me on the phone, telling me you don't want to talk, you want your lawyer.
He ain't stand on business.
So now that the rules were set,
boy
the
seen
Hot
it
Boys
when
were
it
out
got
on the
real
streets for
hot.
money,
His ass
power,
was no
and
hot
blood
boy
if they
no
need
more.
to. I emphasize if they need
Boy
to
was ready
because
to
at
get
first
cold.
the Hot
Hell
Boys really
no.
had no rivals. Even though Gangsta, Dooney, and Sterling had a bunch of bodies before the Hot Boys, none of them had any lingering beef. In fact, to this point between Mosquito and Gangsta, they had 12 combined bodies, none of them involving any
Hell
type of
body.
beef. So other than a small and lingering beef between the Magnolia and 10th Ward, the Hot Boys really had nobody to worry about. Instead,
I'm
they
trying
were
to see
simply
when it really
focused on
got
being
cracking.
the hottest thing in New Orleans, getting all the girls and getting all the money.
He killed a couple people and he was
Gangsta,
just what,
Sterling,
like
Dooney, and Mosquito were rising
13.
superstars. But what if I told you
He
that
killed
they
somebody
weren't
when he
even
was
the
8
most
or something.
popular Hot Boy? That introduces us to a young man named James Tapp, commonly known at the time as Magnolia Slim. As the
Magnolia
name
Slim.
suggests, Slim was born and raised in the projects, and he was known as a hustler that nobody wanted to mess with. He was a tall and skinny moneymaker, but was ready to go to war over the Hot Boys. However, aside from his street life, Slim was also a very talented rapper. Early on, he would make a name for himself rapping in the projects, but then he would progress to performing at block parties and even high school proms. Then by 1993, Slim was only 16 years old and already the hottest up-and-coming rapper in the city. He started being recognized all over the region and was even booked for his first show. That takes us to November 14th, 1993. It's a huge day for the Hot Boys as Slim is set to perform for the very first time in New Orleans. It's actually a real concert and everyone from the city is flooding in to watch. Obviously, most people are there to support a new local star, but in a city like New Orleans, you'll also have a bunch of haters too. Everyone floods into the concert by 10 p.m. and that's when Slim finally hits the stage. As soon as he hits the stage, the 16-year-old star is overwhelmed by cheering fans. It's a huge moment not only for Slim and his family, but also the Hot Boys who were all in the concert. But then out of nowhere, a hater pops up and tries to spoil the performance.
This fool get on the stage and caught himself trying to diss Magnolia Slim. How you diss one of the hottest upcoming rappers in our city? And we deep in here this day.
Little does he know the Hot Boys are all in the concert and are always ready to handle business. As you know, they've eliminated people for much, much less. Well, as soon as they notice him, the Hot Boys rush towards the stage and tell him to get down.
He on the stage, we like, ooh, get the F off the stage, that third wall. He was like, all right, y'all got that, he got off the stage.
This right here definitely could have had lethal consequences, but thankfully the Hot Boys allowed him to apologize. The reason that they didn't harm the guy is because they didn't want to ruin Slim's special night. They wanted him to end his concert on a positive note. However, this would not be possible. Just 5 minutes after the hater hopped on stage, another hater tries to ruin the night. While all of the Hot Boys are focused on the concert, a random man walks up to one of their little homies and socks him in the face. The teenager is discombobulated, he looks around for help, and nobody's paying attention. So instead of fighting back, he heads for the exit and waits in the parking lot. He waits there for 20 minutes until the concert ends and all of the Hot Boys come outside. He doesn't tell them what happened out of embarrassment, but someone else does. A friend of Gangsta's from the Calliope walks up to him and tells him what he witnessed somebody do to his younger homie. He also tells him that the little homie didn't fight back.
not the baby boy in the background.
Gangsta doesn't believe it, as in his mind, there's no way one of his younger homies wouldn't fight back. So he calls him over and asks him one simple question. Did you get punched in the face? He tells him yes, and then Gangsta asks him to point out exactly who did it. He points to a man across the parking lot, and Gangsta says nothing and turns around to his homies.
He did it over there!
In their ears, and they all began walking across the parking lot.
Go get him aired out.
People, they walk right up to the man and make a horrible decision.
We saw the dude, we got outside, he got killed.
Wow, bro. He could have just fought back at them.
We're the wireless company with nothing to hide. Seriously.
He ran outside.
Fees? We don't have them.
Oh, man. I don't understand. He was a little homie. Damn. Yeah, that's why you gotta leave little niggas alone, bro. Don't be out here trying to step on little niggas. You don't know who they got behind them.
So not even on Slim's
come
big
get
day
your
could the
ass,
Hot
boy.
Boys go without doing something reckless. Doing this simply
Trying to
because
step
of a
on no little
punch
kid,
and
trying to be
doing
no
it in
bully.
front of 100 people with no mask is actually
That's why he's a
crazy.
bigger
But
bully.
in New Orleans, this is just a regular occurrence, and the craziest part is that out of all the witnesses, not a single person would talk to police. But regardless of all these people not testifying, this still left a terrible impression for the Hot Boys. If you heard a story like this, you'd want to get out of these people's way by any means. But in New Orleans, this meant that everyone wanted to try them. Like, oh yeah, y'all think y'all are dangerous? Well, watch
New Orleans
this.
is crazy.
Now it was pretty much like bragging rights. If you were able to do something to a hot boy, you were the top dog in New Orleans. So just 1 week after the con.
Yep, and that's really how it be. Like, once you start winning in anything, shit, people gonna come for your head, boy. And once you think you on the top, once you finally get there, you ain't gonna congratulate it. A lot of people gonna just want to try to come and get you, try to take it. That's crazy. back, be like, oh, okay, they top dog. Nah, they want to come take that spot still. They'll die trying. That's the crazy part.
Concert, someone would try the Hot Boys once again, with this time Gangsta being the target. This sounds like a bad idea. It's a late afternoon in the Magnolia Projects, and Gangsta is posted on Washington with some things for sale. At 7 p.m., a man that he's never seen before walks up to him and says he wants to buy something. The guy does not look like a user, so Gangsta is skeptical. So naturally, he pauses everything in fear that the man could be an undercover officer. But instead, the situation is even worse. The man quickly whips out a blick and points it at Gangsta. He tells him to give up everything. Mosquito notices what's happening from across the street and instantly sprints over.
Dude, put out the gun on me, 38.
Yeah, you know he flying around
Mosquito,
ready,
hit him
boy.
up. Hit him.
Woo! That boy Mosquito was up and good, boy.
He had my back because
Came out and bit him.
remember when we first started out around there, the guy was choking him, trying to take a crack from him. And I shot the guy for him. It was one of the ways, it was one of the things when my bro had my back.
Finally, Mosquito was able to pay him back for saving him a few years back. Well, even though they handled the situation and eliminated the robber, they were still pissed that anyone would try them. So once they found out who the man was, they decided to return the favor on the robber's friends. Mosquito and Gangsta head over to the block that the robber claimed, the backside of the Callio Projects.
Right behind, back to what Booker T. Washington. We Washington boy selling. He got his money out count.
As soon as they see the money, Gangsta and Mosquito hop out.
He about to rob a nigga.
Let's run around.
He about to rob them niggas.
Ain't giving them nothing. Cussing,
He
talking
about to
crazy.
rob
The
them
man
niggas.
doesn't want to give anything
He
up
about to
and
rob
starts
them
talking
niggas.
crazy to the Hot Boys. That's when they turn the 211 to a 187.
Fire.
Oh no.
He still took the money and took his gun.
Oh my goodness.
The victim wasn't well known and wasn't from the Callio either.
See the
this
way he
thankfully
said that?
He still took the money and took it. Trigger happy after he had bust that gun that first time. There was no looking back for him.
Gangsta and Mosquito hop
Oh
out
my
and go
gosh, I have
over
to run
rob
it
him.
back.
Let's
Hold
run
on.
down on him. Man, let me get that. Ain't giving him
And still
nothing.
took his
Cussing,
money.
talking crazy.
And took
Man
his
doesn't want
gun.
to give anything up and starts talking crazy
Not
to
the
the Hot
casket with
Boys.
the roses
That's when they
after.
turn the
That shit
211 to
fun.
a 187.
Wow,
With
that's
fire on
crazy.
He still took the money
fire.
and took his gun.
And took his gun.
The victim wasn't well known and wasn't from
And
the
a
Callio
gun,
either,
too.
so this thankfully did not start a beef.
He was
But
later.
regardless, at this point, Mosquito
Yeah,
was
crazy.
completely out of control.
Mosquito was just trigger happy after he had bust that gun that
He
first
got that
time.
first taste of blood.
Looking back for him.
It's
Now,
mosquito. You
older
like a
since it was
mosquito.
homicides. It wasn't nothing like tied to it.
Like a
Street, like
mosquito.
out drugs.
Once you get a taste of blood, man, watch out for them mosquito type of niggas. There's some mosquitoes out there. They didn't kill one or two, and they can't stop killing. Boy, you better don't mess with them mosquito ass boys, man. They gonna kill you for nothing. You feel me? You gotta be calm, cool, calm, collected, bro. Cause who a mosquito out here? Nah.
So this one beefing with this, or it was like periodically might go over here, take a hit, or might go over here and ride this person, or this person say something wrong out his mouth. What are we talking? Up your gun, you shoot him. It was one of them situations because once Mosquito got his hand on a gun, it was crazy.
This is how the Hot Boys transition from hustlers that you don't want to mess with to cold gangsters who will rob you, cross you, or eliminate you just because they want to be bad. And with this mentality, they were bound to make everyone in New Orleans their enemy. Nobody likes a thief, and definitely not a thief who will cross their own allies. To this point, thankfully, the whole Third Ward was unified as the Magnolia, Melf, and Callio could hang out in each other's projects. It was always the Third Ward versus everyone, but then the Hot Boys would somehow ruin everything. So here is the crazy story of how it all starts.
Hot Boys destroyed
Increase
the
your
third war
profit and
unit.
work less time
How
with
did they
Kittle,
do
a
it?
genius
Let me
new AI
guess.
tool, which is
In
Yeah, I think
1994,
they did it. Probably killed
Or
somebody
the
for no
biggest
reason.
kingpin in the Melf had a baby mother who lived in the Magnolia. And because of the Magnolia and Melf's close relationship, he felt safe using his baby mom's apartment as a stash house. These guys are my allies, so I never have to worry about them robbing me, right? Well, this guy was only familiar with the old Magnolia. He didn't know how the new Hot Boys were operating.
One of they big dogs out their project had a baby mother living in our project. He had like 5 kilos hid in her house. He was in college. One of the females out the Magnolia was hanging with her, cool with her. Went back and told one of the guys in the know, like, you know, boy, the Melf got there in such and such house. What? They go in there steal a.
Gangsta admittedly had nothing to do with this, but his friend's actions had serious consequences.
Wow.
When the man finds out, he's absolutely pissed, and he wants to know whether his baby mother set him up or if the Magnolia boys did him cold. So the man starts asking around who did it, just to find out that the Hot Boys are bragging about the incident. The man
Bragging
cannot
about
believe
it.
He tells
Oh,
everyone in the Melf what happened, and they collectively decide that all relations are done with the Magnolia projects. They officially declare beef with the Magnolia, but more specifically with the Hot Boys.
Now the guys at the Melf, they not soft. They going too, so a war broke out. We were like this. If it's beef, whenever we see you, we're gonna fight. We're gonna make it known we beefing. It wasn't no one-on-ones where we're gonna shoot when we see each other. We did mean mugging and keep going until we get our gun. No, when we see each other, we gonna work.
So now the beef is on. Two major heavyweights at odds. The
About to
Melf
get
versus the
hectic.
Magnolia. Nobody expected this to ever happen. So here's how it initially turns out. From June to November of 1994, the Melphamine Project lost 11 people, and according to the paperwork, Mosquito and Gangsta were responsible for 9 of these.
Oh
For
my
one project to
God.
lose 11 people in under a year is pretty much unheard of. But in a city like New Orleans, this is how serious the beefs can get, especially in 1994. In fact, in 1994, the city of New Orleans saw 424 homicides. This is the second deadliest year ever recorded in American history, just behind East Palo Alto in 1992. This was a time where truly every single day in New Orleans could be your last. Bodies were dropping left and right in the city of New Orleans, and
That's
the craziest
crazy. That's
part is
murder
that
city.
none of these included a hot boy.
Yeah.
Well,
Be a
according to
young boy
Gangsta, there
kind.
really wasn't a
Hey,
reason for this. They
baby.
were just getting lucky, I guess. But as you know,
Yeah,
in the street
really
life, what
running
goes
around
around also
trying to
comes
kill
around
anything.
eventually. Unless you move to another city and stay there forever, or you just hide in the house, you will get touched. However, for Gangsta, he would be arrested in early 1995, which may have actually saved his life. He was initially charged with attempted murder, but pled down to assault and was given 1 year in prison. So from April of 1995 to May of 1996,
Bro, you got
Gangsta
them
was located
crime
in
boss
WCI
lawyers.
prison. The judge decided to sentence him lightly with the hopes that he would change his life around once he got out. But come on, guys. But to his credit and in his defense, when he got out, all he wanted to do was have some fun. And that takes us to June 1st, 1996. It's a huge day in New Orleans as the annual Super Fair takes place in the Superdome. Here, everyone can enjoy fun activities, dress up in fresh gear, and holler at new girls. Typically, large gatherings in New Orleans do not end well, but thankfully this venue has heavy security and metal detectors, so everyone can leave the beef at home. So on this day, Mosquito, Gangsta, and the rest of the Hot Boys roll into the fair with no beef on their minds. However, the beef with the Melf is still strong, but who's going to initiate a beef in this kind of setting? Well, at least that's what the Hot Boys are thinking.
OG Booby Black and myself, we was in the fair. Back then, the Dome, Coca-Cola had a fair in the Dome, the Superdome.
As the Hot Boys are
they
mobbing
trying to
through
get
the
out of
fair,
like
they
that.
notice a crew of guys
It's
from the
ain't-
Melf.
ain't
The
over.
Melf approach them quickly and seemingly want to fight, so the two sides clash in the middle of the fair and they start throwing hands. Little did the Hot Boys know, the Melf were able to grab knives off of a booth at the fair. So while they're trying to throw hands, the Melf start poking them up. First, Mosquito gets hit in the shoulder and instantly runs away to safety.
Now me and Lil Cornell fighting at the Melf. He got his head down, so I don't know, he got a little steak knife in the fair. He hits me in my chest, right up under here. I said, oh, he got a knife. Now his feet don't feel me. Now I got to go. Now I got to bail up out of here. He boy got to walk.
So
Hey,
Gangsta
God,
runs
got
for his
the
life
fuck
and
outta
is
there.
able to reunite with his friends. And that's when he notices something crucial.
There was a red stain on my yellow shirt, so I raised my shirt up and it's making noise. Doing like that. So I'm like, oh. So the girl's like, ah. So I fell out. Because I want the attention, right? They called the ambulance. I should have never did that. They charged me for getting in the ambulance just to go right up the block to Charity Hospital.
Gangsta is able to
Oh
make it to
my
the hospital in
God.
time where the doctors are able to stop his wound
That's
and
not
stitch up his
allowed.
lungs.
But my lungs had collapsed, so they gave me like 30-something staples down my stomach.
He thankfully survived this scary incident.
Wow.
And this right here was what brought him right back into stepping after his prison sentence. He now knew that the Melf were determined to get him gone, so he needed to move accordingly.
Bro, look like Scarface. Oh my God. Bro, sit back with.
And now
You
we're 2
motherfucking
weeks
oozing.
after the fair, June 15th, 1996. It's a Saturday afternoon, and Gangsta and the Hot Boys are across the river,
Oh, all
ducking low,
that up.
seeing what they're gonna do for the night.
Crazy.
So rainy, where it's like, yeah, finished raining, I mean. You know, I'd be still looking kind of dark streets so bad. I wanted to go in and kill nobody's, the females we knew. But some of my homeboys didn't have no girls, so all of them didn't want to go because they didn't have a girl back there. So it was like, man, we're going back to the project. I was outvoted because I was riding in the car with them. Go back in the project.
So he's driven back to the Magnolia, and they're all outside posted with nothing to do. As they're hanging out on the block, an ice cream truck pulls up, and a girl asks Mosquito for a quarter. So Mosquito hands her a quarter to get the ice cream, and for whatever reason, this
Damn,
makes
that
Terrence
was a
really,
quarter?
really mad.
She asked Mosquito for a quarter. He give her a quarter to get out. I said, you gonna give her a quarter? I said, when them boys at the milk come back here, I'm the one gotta go to war with you. And you give her a quarter, and you and him fussing about his money.
Gangsta was already upset that
Oh
his
my
boys didn't want to
God.
go to Kenner, and now this makes him even more mad. But then out of nowhere, something completely changes his mood for the better.
So at the time I'm kneeling down, pretty fine girl named Carmelita walked past me, walk out in the street, she turned around, she said, so we heard talking, we started talking. I said, where you from? She said, I'm at the tent wall. I said, oh, I'm coming back there in the same time. She said, boy, you can't come back there. I got offended instantly. What you mean I can't come back there? She said, you shot that boy back there. That's my baby daddy. I said, oh. She said, so I'm gonna come back here by you because I don't want them to tell me I set you up or something like that. I said, ah, that's cool.
So the girl tells him that she's gonna take the bus home, get herself
That sound like a
ready, and
setup.
come back to Terrence. Obviously, he's not gonna let her walk and sit at the bus stop alone, so he takes her over there across on the other side of the project.
Shot my baby daddy.
4 blocks from my house now, on the
What?
old side of the project, from my gun. It gets dark when the bus finally comes. She get on the bus and I'm walking back up Washington Avenue.
It's a setup,
I
bro.
see a man like, you know how somebody
get
walk
you
past
popped,
and
homie.
they kind of scare me, they run out to the street every light. I walked up a few more steps. That's when I hear, gangsta, gangsta. Instead of me looking across the street where the voice coming from, because there's a guy by the store, he's calling for me. He's trying to alert me that there's a guy behind me that have a gun. Gangsta, gangsta. I look back. It's a husky guy with a hat and a
Ooh,
mask
of course,
running
bro.
towards me with a
The
fork.
setup.
Now, mind you, I just had the staples I got the staples in my stomach, so I gotta go. But I got to go. Boom, 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 boom. He started to hit. When I hit the ground, I turned around and looked up at him. Because in my mind, I got to get up. If I don't get up, he's going to dog me on this ground. Before I jump up, he shot again and fired me. So I jump up. Look at that. He looking at me. We looking eye to eye. Like, but I can't really make out who he is because he got the handkerchief here, got the hat down, but he's kind of heavy set. And I run in the alley, he run off.
He then tries to flag down anyone who can help and bring him to the hospital.
When I go in the alley, I go back there by this light-skinned guy.
Hey,
Older.
bro, all
Hey,
that karma
say, man,
catching
somebody
up
just
now.
shot me.
It's just heading
He
on.
look. I ain't crazy. You come back here to kill me. He take out running because he's a crackhead. He's spooky. He heard the shot, so he thinking I'm coming to do him. I said, man, that's crazy. I laugh a little bit. I go to this other house. The man let me in the house. I sat on the chair. That's when Mosquito, Big G, come running back. Gangsta, gang, where you? I said, man, here. I got up. As soon as I got up, I put my arms around Mosquito and Big G. poured from my waist on down, just went dead.
That's crazy. Karma.
Gangsta's rushed to the hospital and things are not looking good.
All that stuff.
Want to become an amazing content creator? You should use motion arrays, templates, motion graphics, presets.
2 times now.
The ambulance makes it to Charity Hospital and doctors try to perform miracle surgery. While they're trying to save him, all of his friends are gathered around in the waiting room. They assume that he probably won't make it, and because of this, they want instant revenge. So without any investigation, they collectively decide that it must have been the MILF, and they want to get back at them right away. So directly from the hospital, the Hot Boys hop in 2 cars and head over to the MILF. They're so angry and hellbent on revenge that they can't even think logically. So as soon as they arrive to the rival projects, they start unleashing at anyone outside. During the incident, a couple guys from the MILF get injured and they're rushed to the same Charity Hospital. So now with both Gangsta and guys from the MILF in surgery, both projects are waiting in the waiting room.
The guys
Oh
out the
my
MILF,
God.
they in the hospital. They come to the hospital to see their people. OG Booby Black Kid is still in the hospital, so if they leaving to go do something, go to the elevator, they come in, get off the elevator, they meet up, they up guns in the hospital.
Oh my God.
And now they in the hospital, they meet up, and now guns are drawn. My mother come out, yo, stop, they put them up. Calm down.
This could have been really ugly, but thankfully both sides are able to calm down and they begin to talk it out. The MILF explained that they didn't even know that something had happened to Gangsta, and of course that they had nothing to do with it. Of course, due to the beef, the Hot Boys are not so certain, but the only way to know is to wait for Gangsta to survive the surgery. So in the meantime, everyone is waiting in the hospital for Gangsta to come out.
They gotta
to
find
tell them
out
who
that
did it.
it's that lady. It was obviously
Finally, he
that
makes
lady.
it out of the surgery, and he tells the Hot Boys that it wasn't the MILF who did it. He tells them that he doesn't know exactly who it was, but it definitely was not somebody he recognizes from the MILF. Now the major question remains, who did this to Gangsta Williams? So while he's recovering in the hospital, the Hot Boys are roaming around the city trying to figure out who did this. And finally, when Gangsta is released back to the projects, his boys tell him who they think was responsible. The attack actually did not come from rivals. In fact, we believe that somebody within our own projects wanted you gone.
Wow.
So now an internal beef broke out in the Magnolia, the Hot Boys versus everyone else.
I left, went home. I got my tub, my mother cleaned me up. She was putting a bandage on me. Hurt. I said, oh, mama, that sounded like that Mac. Booby getting off on somebody. All the while that AK was getting off on him. Booby, that's when he lost his arm. One of the people Kevin Gates right now got the one arm. In that walk we had going on in the project, we beefed with one another. This was in-house beef. So you got us running around in the courtyards with AKs, Mac 9 and hallway out looking and
So now, not only were the Hot Boys at war with the MILF, but they were at war with the clique in their own project. This is a sticky
Running
situation.
through the project,
Because of this, they
shooting
must
at
watch
each
their
other.
backs at all times. They have to watch out for rivals, and now their own project. How crazy is that? So because of this predicament, Gangsta and the Hot Boys started hanging out in other projects that they got along with. And that fast forwards us a month to mid-July of
This way to lay low.
1996.
this particular morning, it was another day where it looked a little muggy, but then it's during the summertime because Sterling was sitting on the porch in the project chilling. And when I pulled up, I was like, I said, yo, wanna go on Canal Street, get some tennis shoes or something? He's like, yeah, I ain't doing nothing, jump in the car with me. Canal Street, let's go ahead and go to the Iberville Project. We go to the Iberville Project. We left our guns in the Magnolia because we was for there to go to Canal Street, get some shoes, tennis shoes, and go back.
At this time, the Magnolia and Iberville are close allies, so Gangsta thinks that it's a comfortable place to be. So Gangsta and Sterling are in the middle of the project talking to their biggest dog named Mumsy. And that's when a girl starts to alert them.
So as we talking, this guy come, putting a handkerchief around his face. She said, y'all better run, that boy got a gun. So I'm looking at Mumsy, looking at her like, who is this fool? Because we back here by you. It's your project. What's up? Now you reaching. Oh, it's time to go. We take out running. Hit a shot. Hit him all in the back of his head.
Sterling is critically hit, so Gangsta runs over to the police station to flag them down.
I ran through the cut, I run across the street. They got a police station over there. Flag police down there. Can you give me a ride back in the project? I think my friend got shot. Right where we ran at.
Oh
The girl said,
no.
I won't give a ride to. She's holding him in her arms.
Sadly, Sterling does not make it.
Ow.
Gangsta is absolutely
They
destroyed.
went there
That's what I just
lacking.
crying.
That's
So
crazy.
people at the Magnolia got word fed. They come uptown. Some people was already back there. Gangsta, don't cry. They want to see you. I said, no. They need to see this here because they're going to feel my pain later. They're going to feel my pain later.
They go feel my pain
For all the
like.
beef and drama, Gangsta
The
never
fact he
expected a
never
hot boy to
played
die,
that.
especially not on
Go
a day like
feel my
this where they're hanging
pain
out in a
later.
friendly project.
And they
So
really gonna
quickly,
feel
his
it,
pain
bro.
turns
That's
into anger,
crazy.
and him and the hot boys are completely against the Iberville project.
Sterling dies. We thinking this the Iberville.
So sadly, the hot boys start sliding on the Iberville without even knowing that it was them who did it.
How do you not even know what you?
Going
That's
back
crazy.
there, dress up like a
No,
woman.
many people probably
Four
do
of us go
that.
back there.
I don't even know who really did it. They just go slide on whoever they've been having beef with for a long time. It had to be them. Like, nigga, you don't even know it was them. Now you starting a whole another beef. Innocent people dying for no reason. You know what you're sliding.
Killer Stone, his brother.
Shouldn't be sliding at all.
Telling Hank, cousin,
He was sliding
Joe,
off
Hank,
emotion.
go back there. I'm dressed like I got the gun on with my arm, though. I see one of the guys come from around the building. I pull a gun jam. He shoot his gun jam. The other two, they guns jam. And now there's another high power rifles coming at us. I said, whoa. We ran back, jump in the car, we got away. Man, we almost got killed back there. We had 4 guns and only 4 shots get off. The rest, about 100 shots at us. We got away. They didn't even hit the car. That's not a thing about it. So anyway, we make it out there.
Hey man, the car.
So now we thinking that we beefing with the Iberville downtown.
So now on top of the beef with the Melf and the inner beef in the projects, they now want to go to war with the Iberville. This was dangerous
They
news
got
for the
war
Iberville,
on all
even though
sides.
they really hadn't done anything. The Hot Boys wanted a ton of revenge for the loss of Sterling. They were not going to stop. But then, before they could do any damage to the Iberville,
All
somebody would
they
come
die.
forward and confess.
So one day I'm riding in Lexus. Going, so this red truck around it followed me. I'm turning on Phillip, it follows me. I turn on Willa, it follows me. I get ready to turn on first. So you know when you get ready to turn like this, how you can see a person? When you turn your car, you can see behind you. I said,
Oh,
yo,
yeah.
I said, you.
Always
Such
checking
some
them
on.
mirrors. Gotta check
Yo,
your
you wanna kill
mirrors.
Sterling? Yeah.
As crazy as it sounds, the random man confesses to Gangsta that he's the one who stepped on Sterling.
That's what that's behind. He said, man, he tried to lie. Oh, he stepped on my arm and shooting the beach. I said, you killed my boy behind that? He said, yeah. He said, man, I want to talk. I want to holler at you though.
The man from the Melf does not want beef with the Hot Boys and definitely not with Gangsta, so he wants to simply just talk it out. But
Hi, we're visible. The wireless
He
company
wanna
that
talk
makes
it out
things
now.
visible.
Yeah,
With us,
bro.
what
I
you
don't know if
see
you gonna talk it out
Gangsta
with
and the
them.
Hot Boys, they were not going to let this slide.
He
Regardless, though, in
laughed,
order to
dude.
throw the guy off, Gangsta agrees to have a meeting.
Oh
So
my
we wanna talk about
god.
You know I'm a stone killer.
Like, oh yeah, you
gonna
wanna
pull
talk?
up and
Okay.
gonna talk to me and let me know you
Talk to
the one who
these
killed my
bullets.
friend? Come on, man, for real. So I said, he crazy, he vulnerable. So me,
He's vulnerable.
he's gonna make a bet who gonna kill this guy first. So
To
one
make a
day,
bet. Oh my god.
I never go meet him. I don't know, cause I know he's vulnerable. He want to talk. He just something wrong when he died.
This shit crazy.
For whatever reason, Gangsta doesn't want to do it himself, so he has 2 other Hot Boys set it up.
I give Blabber my call. They go in the Melf, see the clown on the payphone, open fire on him. He get away.
The guy who downed Sterling somehow gets away, and he decides to call the police. On
Oh.
top of this, he even
no.
tells them exactly who did it. And because of this, one of the prominent Hot Boys is arrested for attempted murder.
Tell the police how I get charged with that shoot.
This guy from the
Oh, he
Melf is
turned
cold.
to a
He
killer
downed
rat real
Sterling,
quick.
and then he told on the guys who targeted him. Well, the worst part
Oh,
about it is
no.
that this occurred before Sterling's funeral, so 2 of the Hot Boys didn't even get to go. And now that takes us to the big
Damn,
day,
that's some bad
Sterling's
karma to
funeral.
have, man. They ran up some bad karma. Real bad.
It's a somber
What?
day for the Magnolia as one of their most beloved members is being laid to rest. Well, because all the Hot Boys are there, and of course the beef, NOPD warns everyone at the funeral that there might be a drive-by.
The police say It's a possibility.
It
it's about to
might be a
drive-by.
drive-by. How the
It's a
police know?
possibility.
Because of this, everyone at the funeral is on edge, looking over their shoulders and awaiting loud noises. Then a girl at the back of the funeral home thinks she heard a shot and she yells,
Drive-by. Everybody around starts screaming.
Oh my
They ran
God.
all around the funeral. They knocked the man off the
Drive-by.
She fell down. So, I'm like, man, what's wrong? So I get up.
Oh,
Cause me and I had Sterling dressed, was dressed alike. I get up, lean over the coffin, hug my boy.
probably wasn't even nothing to have
Everybody
it.
pull out their guns, so they standing in front. Me, while I'm holding Sterling, they stand out.
So everyone runs outside while Gangsta and the Hot Boys remain by the casket. But then, for whatever reason, Mosquito sprints outside
Mosquito.
with some other intentions.
Mosquito.
Man, he always
It's the bright idea. Well, I want to get in a gunfight.
crazy,
He ran out the
bro.
back of the
He
funeral
ready
and
to
come
bite.
Around. He ran and come around and the face whoever brought the shoot the funeral home. He run into the police. Go to jail for the gun.
Oh my
So now
God.
not only is the funeral interrupted, but Mosquito is
thirst
also taken
got
off to
him.
jail. A felon in possession, not good news.
He was way too thirsty, bro.
Now, mind you,
He
Sterling
really
dead.
thought somebody shot.
Dooney is in jail now. Dooney in jail, one of the original hot boy. He in jail. He in jail. So that just leave me and Mosquito out on the streets. But Mosquito get caught with the gun, so he go to jail for the gun. So I'm just the only one out on the streets.
So now it's Gangsta by himself in the Magnolia. All of his friends are either deceased or now locked up. On top of this, Mosquito gets a
Bro,
huge
solo
sentence for
dolo
his minimal
now.
crime.
He gets 7 years for the gun.
All them
Gotta
ups.
go to magistrate court. They release him from jail. Make a mistake.
Somehow the court accidentally releases Mosquito. only in
Nah, bro.
Louisiana.
Birdman had
Obviously,
all
this is
them paid
exciting
off.
news for
Ain't no
Mosquito.
way they
He
was
knows
all
that
getting
he'll
out of
eventually
jail,
be called
bro.
back to prison. So instead of going back to his registered address,
He got out of
decides to
jail
stay
too,
with his
like,
sister in the
nah.
Callio project.
So now he's hiding out in the Callio project because he has a sister that lives in the Callio project.
At this time, the Calliope and Magnolia are very close allies, so much so that Magnolia Slim actually signed with Master P. So given the project's close relationship,
Well.
Mosquito figures that this is the safest place to hide out.
The print-on-demand tool that can take your business to the next level. If you're an experienced
crazy,
graphic designer,
'cause
you're probably
Master
tired of
P
the
was a
constant
part of
creative
Callio,
blocks when it
right?
comes to creating new
Pretty
designs.
sure.
And if you're new to print-on-demand, you might find it hard to create.
But
I didn't
little does
really
he
talk
know,
about
it's
that.
actually the
Like Master P and Birdman was beefing or something.
worst place he could possibly be.
Pretty sure it's a lot deeper.
Coincidentally, right after Mosquito
was
moves
like-
into the projects, somebody robs their biggest plug. The Calliope has no idea who did it, but based on their reputation,
my
they
piece,
assume that
I
it
hope
was
y'all having
Gangsta
a
and
good
Mosquito.
RTL
Somebody
day,
get
though.
robbed in the Callio
Hope
project, they
everything
thinking it's us. But it wasn't us for real, so
At this time, the Calliope was run by a guy named Randall Watts, a serious hustler that you definitely do not want to mess with. While Randall and Gangsta actually used to run together a few years back, and they maintained a
Watching a
really close
documentary.
friendship. So given this, you'd assume that right after the Calliope was robbed, Randall would hit up Gangsta and see if it was him who did it. Instead, they simply come to the conclusion that it was the Hot Boys and that they need to retaliate.
So he think that's a safe spot because we was cool with the Callio. So he think it's a safe spot to hang out at. But all the while, they thought that it was him and I that did the robbery in their project, which made them be like, okay, well, we gonna murder him back here for disrespecting us like that. Callio like to say if you violate them, they gonna strike back. No matter what, if you violate them some kind of way, they're gonna strike back.
October 25th, 1996. Gangsta's at home chilling in the Magnolia projects when Mosquito swings by. Gangsta can tell that something is up with Mosquito, so he decides to ask him if he's okay. Then Mosquito tells him that his
boy.
baby mother got into an argument with somebody in Gertown and that he might need his help. So Gangsta immediately volunteers to go over there with Mosquito to mediate the situation. So Gangsta hops in Mosquito's car and they head over to Gertown. Long story short, Gangsta and Mosquito are able to mediate the situation, and Mosquito heads back to the projects to drop off Gangsta. Gangsta then hops in the shower to get fresh, and then when he hops out, he has a bunch of missed calls. For whatever reason, somebody keeps calling him and he finally decides to pick up. This is when he receives shocking and devastating news. He's informed that Mosquito was killed in the Calliope while walking to his sister's house. Gangsta does not believe it for a second, as he says, "He literally just dropped me off." So he instantly puts some clothes on and rushes over to the Calliope. And when he gets there, he sees something that he never imagined he would see. When he arrives to the Calliope, he sees Mosquito laid out with the coroner. Complete disbelief. How in the world did this happen in the Calliope? There's no possible way that under the watch of Randall Watts that this could happen to Mosquito. Mosquito's passing hit Gangsta harder than any other because this was really his real day one. Well, once the sadness turned into anger, he needed to figure out who was responsible.
That's insane. Almost
and
all
a few
his
days
homies
later,
gone,
gets
bro.
confirmation that the Calliope was actually responsible. Now with Mosquito gone, Sterling gone, and Hot Bezo and George in jail, Gangsta and Dooney are the only hot boys left on the streets. So given this, going to battle with the big and bad Calliope projects is definitely a daunting task. However, when your name is Gangsta Williams, you're willing to get revenge at any cost. He felt like the Calliope did this to his friend for absolutely no reason. Even if you thought that we robbed you, Randall could have at least checked in to see if it was true. That was the bare minimum. So because of this, Gangsta went full force against the Calliope projects.
Uh-oh. He went solo.
In fact, between November 1st of 96 and
that's
New Year's,
great.
the Calliope lost 5 members. Third Ward New Orleans was at each other's necks like never before. The Magnolia versus both the Calliope and the Melf. Absolute chaos and mayhem every single day, I kid you not. But believe it or not, in the midst of all this, there was also some positive aspects. At this exact time, both sides were making major strides in music, especially with Birdman's Cash Money Records. With artists like Lil Wayne, BG, Juvenile, and Turk, New Orleans was about to be on fire. Birdman had the genius vision to combine them as a group, except all he needed was a name. So he decided to ask his little brother Gangsta for input, and here's how it would go.
When the Hot Boys, the rap group come out, Hot Boys. And Baby was like, man, I need a name for my group. We ride on the bus, taking about 30 minutes. I said, name the Hot Boys. He said, yes, I like that, but what it mean? I mean, you look good, you dress nice, you got jewelry, you got girls, call, murders. You a hot boy.
So this is how the Hot Boys
You a
started,
hot
and
boy.
they instantly caught fire. So essentially, as the Hot Boys street crew was fading away, the Hot Boys rappers were off and running. And for the Calliope side, well, Master P had recently returned from Richmond, California, and he started developing artists. In particular, he focused on his artist Soulja Slim, who was previously known as Magnolia Slim. So obviously, with Slim signed to the now rival side, things could potentially get tricky.